Welcome to the Heidi Thorne Show. I'm your host, Heidi Thorne, and in this podcast, I share my real-world self-publishing and small business experience with you. Before we get started, I just want to remind you to like, comment, share, follow, and subscribe. Now let's get on with today's show. My author friend Barrett Laurie posted a vlog questioning whether it was time to quit his pursuit of his middle grades fiction book that would be traditionally published. The social climate was becoming more unfriendly to his worldview and beliefs. Book bans and restrictions could make his book a non-starter. Mergers in the larger publishing sphere would make marketing his book even more challenging. Should he resort to self-publishing? Or should he just quit this adventure? And when do you know if it's time to quit and move on? I think all of us authors, whether traditionally or self-published, suffer from the shall I stay or shall I go moment at some point. Probably more now as book and content markets become more competitive. Here are some things to consider as you consider whether to continue. Before we get too far into this discussion, I'd like to invite you to participate in my 2022 self-publishing survey. It's anonymous, it's 10 click to answer questions, and it takes about 2 to 3 minutes to complete. I'll include a link to the survey in this episode's description. A little over 50 authors have already shared their experience. I'm hoping to have many more than that. I'd like to have at least 250 authors participating this year. Already, I'm seeing some similarities and differences from the previous two surveys in 2016 and 2018. Relevant to today's discussion, in this year's survey, I've included an expanded question about choosing between traditional and self-publishing. That has been very enlightening for me so far. I can't wait to share the results of the survey in early 2023. I'm targeting January. If you'd like updates on the survey, as well as weekly updates about this podcast, I'd also encourage you to sign up for my email newsletter. The sign-up link will also be in the show description. I commented on Barrett's video about the difference between loving the writing or the outcome. Neither one is right or wrong. One of the highest motivating factors for authors in the last surveys was the love of writing. Yet, the biggest challenges had to do with selling and marketing books. There's an ever-present tension between feeling satisfaction from writing and financial satisfaction from selling that writing. Authors want both, obviously. But given today's competitive markets, the financial satisfaction is less likely to be achieved. I would caution authors to not become discouraged and then hate writing because it doesn't bring financial rewards. If you are bummed because you are not receiving the book sales you want, do some soul searching about your motivations. It may not be because you really love writing. You love what you hope writing will do for you and your bank account. There is nothing wrong with wanting your book to be a moneymaker. Just be honest with yourself. If you say you love writing, love it because you love the process of writing, not just the rewards. If you love your work, you'll never work a day in your life, so the saying goes. That statement has been attributed to many great thinkers of the past. And I'm here to say that it's bunk. The day you turn something you love into a profit center, it becomes a job, and you could end up hating it. It's now a chore, fraught with a slew of new, difficult, and unpleasant activities, like accounting and sales, that you'll now mentally attach to your favorite pastime. This is another reason why I think authors become disillusioned when they turn their passion for writing into a business. They think the pleasure of doing their favorite activity should be equally rewarded in dollars. When author gurus toot their own horn on YouTube or social media about their wild and usually non-duplicatable success, it can put other authors into a deep funk. They get trapped in the "you can do it too" fallacy. Those who brag about their successes make the process of earning outrageous fortune with their writing seem easy. But something's missing, like the special factors that made their success possible. or the fortune they had to spend to make the fortune they brag about. Before sinking into despair when your achievements don't measure up to others, read the gurus' bios or do some digging to see what advantages they may have had or huge investment they may have made. I've done this and can usually quickly debunk almost any of these claims. Wayne Dyer is one of my favorite authors in the personal and spiritual development space. In one of his audiobooks or programs I listened to many years ago, this point has stuck with me, even to this day. He said something to the effect that your happiness shouldn't be contingent on if something happens. I will be happy if, or I will be happy when. If such and such doesn't occur, will you be unhappy or even miserable? For the purposes of our discussion, would you say, I will be happy if I get a book contract for my book? Or, I will be happy when I sell 1,000 copies of my self-published book. You are setting yourself up for suffering and disappointment should these outcomes not occur. For Barrett, the macro issues of big publisher mergers and restrictions on new author book visibility in bookstores were causing concerns. Additionally, reaching his desired target market of middle-grade readers could be impacted by book banning and censorship efforts. Would agents even consider him for representation now? He was hopeful that indie bookstores committed to serving their communities might carry his book. While I agreed with that potential for indie retail sales was one I had seen work for similar authors, indies are facing enormous marketing challenges themselves, and their ability to support might be limited. There's also the factor that middle grade readers themselves have very little buying power, but high potential for parental veto power over what they read. So it's always been a tough sell. He also mused about possibly switching to adult markets that might be more interested in his topics and books. I was encouraged to hear that Barrett even considered these issues. Today, authors need to be savvy marketers and promoters, being very aware of trends for the audiences they serve. While the ideal time to do this research on your book's target market is before you write it, I think many authors don't. If you don't do the research in advance and your book is already published, do it as soon as you can so you can redirect your marketing if needed. I was glad to learn in Barrett's video that he was heading off to a in-person writer's retreat. He seemed excited to go and talk with some of his local author friends. I commented that he should table his stick or quit considerations until he got back. Sometimes a break from your current surroundings or routine is just what you need to gain some perspective on your writing and publishing situation. Or you might want to have a chat with a mentor or coach who can ask the right questions to help you decide on whether to continue with your writing or publishing pursuits. I hope you found that helpful or encouraging, and if you did, please rate, review, and subscribe to The Heidi Thorne Show on whatever podcast app you like to use. I'm on all the major ones, including Apple Podcast and Spotify. If you like the YouTube video better, all you have to do is subscribe to my Heidi Thorne YouTube channel and turn on the notification bell so you get an alert when a new video is up. I would appreciate it if you would share either the audio or the video with your friends on social media. My self-published books are available on Amazon, Audible, and Apple Books. All you have to do is go to one of those sites, type in my name, Heidi Thorne, and a list of all available titles will come up. If you'd like to connect with me, my website is HeidiThorne.com. Thank you so much for listening and for your support. I look forward to talking with you again in the next episode, and in the meantime, have a great day.